Y'all be talking crazy under them IG pictures. So when you get the hell, you tell them Blanco sent you. I can't take no threats. I got a set of twins. Those are just some words you never hear again.
What's up, family? I'm back. It's your boy, the Urban Sports Guru. I'm in the building, man. Hope you missed me because I missed you. But we're going to get right to it. We're going to get right to it because today is about the NBA playoffs. The NBA playoffs start today, people. The NBA playoffs start today. And I'm going to give y'all who's going to win these series. We're going to start with the Eastern Conference because, you know, the Eastern Conference is not the West. So we're going to get that shit out of the way. Cavs versus Pacers with the 4-5. I should start with the number 1 seed, but Cavs are the best in the East, and they play the Pacers in the first round, and I don't even think that's worth the discussion, so I'm going to get that shit out of the way. That series will go 5 games at best. I'm done with that. I don't want to speak about that no more. Toronto versus Washington. Number 1 seed Toronto Raptors versus the number 8 seed Washington Wizards. Now, we all know Washington should not be an 8 seed. We all know the kind of talent on their team. But I'm making picks for a playoff series. The first thing I always ask is, who's the best player in this series? The best player in this series is John Wall. John Wall is by far the most talented player in this series. By far. But clearly, there's a chemistry issue in Washington. When you have the center on the team making little comments when Wall was out, they all kept making comments, public comments, about how the game flows better when he's not around. Everybody's making these comments. Bradley Beal was making comments. It's been widely reported that him and Bradley Beal just don't get along for whatever the reason. Maybe it's like, okay, you getting too much shot. Whatever the case, whatever the reason. It seems like for whatever reason, whenever you have 2 stars, eventually it becomes some kind of ego trip or whatever the case may be. And it's crazy to me when I think about it because John Wall isn't a shoot-first point guard. He's a pass-first point guard. But for whatever reason, there is a chemistry issue on that team. And let me be the first one to say this. I'm going to say it right here on the show, Urban Sports Guru. If the Washington Wizards get washed in this series, John Wall is trade bait. John Wall will be traded in the offseason if the Washington Wizards don't at the very least take this to 7 games. Because they have the talent to win this series. The strength of the Toronto Raptors is their backcourt. That's the strength of the Toronto Raptors. Washington's backcourt is better. I like Kyle Lowry. He's very good. He ain't no John Wall. DeMar DeRozan. I like him. He may be... I think he's at pretty even with Bradley Beal. But he ain't as good as John Wall. Raptors, however, don't have chemistry issues. They don't have these issues with their team. They are a cohesive unit playing for a great coach in Dwayne Casey. And I have absolutely no faith in the Washington Wizards. None. I think they'll make it interesting and then lose in 6. Moving forward, the number 2 seed Boston Celtics versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, the Boston Celtics, with Brad Stevens, was a great coach. I'm going to put that out there. They remind me of Tom Thibodeau's Chicago Bulls. They remind me a lot. The way they defend, having a great point guard, Derrick Rose. They have Kyrie Irving. And the way Tom Thibodeau was able to get those Bulls teams to still defend and still perform come playoff time to a degree, even when Derrick Rose kept getting hurt. I think Brad Stevens is capable of the same thing. The difference between those 2 teams is the Boston Celtics have 2 young, emerging all-star talents in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Those Tom Thibodeau teams didn't have that. That's the difference to me, but this series to me is all about Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like I said, when I'm picking a playoff series, the first thing I always ask myself, who is the best player in this series? And the best player in this series, by far, not even close, it's not even debatable, is Giannis Antetokounmpo. I believe this brother is a real, true superstar. Not an emerging all-star. Not just a perennial all-star. I think he is a superstar. Superstar. There are not many superstars in this league. That term gets thrown around very loosely when they are not real superstars in this league. I think he's on the verge of being one of them. And players make themselves superstars here in the playoffs. This is when it gets done. And I understand Jabari Parker's not 100%. Do have Eric Bledsoe. Middleton. Thon Maker has regressed. But they don't have Kyrie Irving. They don't have Gordon Hayward. This is Milwaukee's series to lose. I'm picking Milwaukee in this series. I'm picking Milwaukee in about 6 or 7 games. I say it goes that far because Brad Stevens is a great coach, and them Celtics boys, they're going to still defend. But it's going to be an ugly series because Milwaukee doesn't shoot consistently enough. And, Celtics, without the guys I mentioned, have a hard time scoring the ball consistently, especially in the playoffs when the game's going to slow down. I'm taking the Milwaukee Bucks. Last but not least, in the Eastern Conference, we have the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Miami Heat. Now, Philadelphia has become a sexy pick. A very, very sexy pick for everybody. And understandably so. But they're going to get really battle-tested by this Miami squad. And I say battle-tested because this team is Rick Ross song that I love very much from him and Young Jeezy called War Ready. Miami Heat is war ready. They're not the most talented team, but they're war ready. This is a team. Pat Riley is an excellent executive. He knows how to build teams for the playoffs. This is a team that is built for the playoffs. They're not the most talented, but they're built for the playoffs. And I think Dwayne Wade still has some magic. He, of course, can't do it for a whole season. Still has some magic for a playoff run. And this is when, in my opinion, Dwayne Wade would have been at most valuable to LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is where he really would have shown his value, because playoffs is all about who can you count on. You can count on Dwayne Wade. 6 days a week and twice on Sunday, you can count on Dwayne Wade. Even at this age, he can't do it for a whole season no more. He cannot do that for a whole season, but guess what? He can do it for 7 games. Against anybody. He can do it for 7 games. Now, Ben Simmons is special. Not even going to debate that. Special. I don't look at him and see a potential all-star. I don't look at him and see a perennial all-star. I look at him and I see franchise player. I see superstar potential. And Joel Embiid might come back in this series, and the intriguing thing with that, someone else who I see superstar potential is Miami's the one team who has somebody who can deal with him to some degree in the Eastern Conference. No other team in the Eastern Conference has that because everything, the way the game is played now, but they have an equalizer that you of course have to put the asterisk of if motivated. Hassan Whiteside, even though he got $100 million, that should motivate you itself. But if motivated, Hassan Whiteside is the ultimate equalizer. The ultimate equalizer. Because they, hear me now, ladies and gentlemen, they will never, and I stress this, they will never be a replacement for a big man. No matter how much you want to change the game, there'll never ever be a replacement for a big man that can dominate the painted area on both ends. When you have a big man who is a capable scorer, doesn't have to be a dominant scorer, but just a capable scorer on one end in the painted area, then on the other end, where he can completely dominate the painted area, where if you don't wear my uniform, you're not coming in here. If you don't wear my uniform, don't come here. Shoot that shit out there. And that's what Hassan Whiteside is capable of doing. In my opinion, he's capable of doing that better than anyone in the league. He's just not consistent. This is why you have to put the asterisk, the quotations, if motivated. This series hard for me to call, but because Philly has great outside shooting, Miami has a hard time scoring. Philly has home court advantage. I think Dwayne Wade still has some magic in him, but I don't see them being able to score enough points. I see them losing in 7 games. That's the Eastern Conference. Let's go to the West. Now, number 1 seed, Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets against the T-Wolves. Now, Houston Rockets, they're the number 1 seed, and I love James Harden. I love the way he played this year, and I think he's the MVP. Chris Paul, this is where you earn your money. You earn James, and they're supporting cast. T-Wolves don't defend the 3 ball that well, so on paper, this should be Rockets in 4, maybe 5. But as I told y'all, Minnesota is a budding super team waiting to happen. And it's all waiting on one thing. The resurgence of Karl Anthony Towns. Told y'all earlier, weeks ago this is where the playoffs, where superstars make a name for themselves. Karl Anthony Towns is someone who I look and see as not just a perennial all-star, but a potential superstar. If he is to be that, he's going to make some real noise in this series because he has a supporting cast with Wiggins. He has a supporting cast, the fact that Butler is back, Jeff Teague, Jay Crossover. If the Rockets want to go up and down, they can go up and down. But here's the thing that Houston has over that Minnesota has over Houston. They have more athletes. They have length. And one thing I've said, the playoffs is it comes to be about matchups. And when you put longer athletic guys on James Harden, and you force him to have to shoot those step-back 3-pointers against guys who are 6'8", 6'9", and athletic, those percentages are going to go down. They're definitely going to go down. So, if Karl Anthony Towns' ascension is going to happen, it's going to happen in this series, and they'll make a series out of this. I'm not going to say they'll win, but they can push this to 7 games, 6 games maybe. 6 games, maybe 7. That's that series. Number 2 seed Warriors versus the Spurs. Now, Warriors did something pretty smart here. They basically tanked against Houston, getting their ass kicked by 40. Houston against Utah, getting their ass kicked by 40. So they didn't have to play OKC, which is going to be a dogfight. Instead, they get to play San Antonio. San Antonio Spurs in the first round, who ain't got nothing for them. I love me some Greg Popovich. Let me put that out there. It's not a secret. Greg Popovich is the best basketball coach in the game right now. they ain't got nothing for the Dubs, even without Steph Curry. And this is going to be the kind of series where they can get their feet wet and kind of get their mojo back against a team that they are so far just athletically, skill-wise, and they can get their shit together come second round. So I see that as a sweep. Sweep. If they're bored, it may go gentleman sweep 5 games, but that's going to be a sweep. Last but not least, we have the 3-6 matchup with Portland and the Pelicans. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke about this a few weeks ago. This might be the most entertaining series to see, with Baby Dame and Anthony Davis going at each other. Of course, they won't be guarding one another, but these are guys that are they're gonna go off. Each guy's gonna go off. I hope this series goes 7 games. I truly do. I hope this series goes 7 games, just so we can see these two guys just really go at each other and just go bonkers. I'm really interested in seeing that. I say Portland in 7, solely because Dame has more help than Anthony Davis does. Now, Boogie was there. I would take New Orleans in 6. I would take him in 6. But he's not. I say Portland in 7 games. Last but not least, the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Utah Jazz. I love Donovan Mitchell. I think he's the Rookie of the Year. I think he can make the series interesting because OKC goes through these kind of lapses, so to speak. But OKC is a team that is built for the playoffs, and this is where you're going to see the best out of them, in my opinion. And I'm really looking forward to that second round series with them against Houston. This is where Golden State is kind of lucking out. Golden State is really lucking out because I've said it all season. They had 2 real challenges in the Western Conference with OKC and Houston. They'll be the favorite in these series, but they have real challenges from each one of these teams. I've said that they have a gauntlet to go through in the Western Conference, and these 2 teams are it. Now, the way it's set up, these 2 teams get to cancel each other out, and they only end up having to play one of them instead of having to play both of them. This is a little slick shit Golden State did. This is a little slick shit they did. And it worked. Because likely they're going to play Portland. Portland wins a 7-game series against the Pelicans. They play them in the second round. Steph Curry gets to get his shit back. Now, he's going to get, coming off an injury, he's going to get toasted by Dame in a few of those games. But they could win that in 6. Then they'll have everything rolling when you could potentially play the winner of OKC Houston in the Western Conference Finals. They know exactly what they're doing. But back to the Warriors Spurs series, I just want to say one thing, because Spurs obviously do not have Kawhi Leonard. If there's any doubts about how great a player Kawhi Leonard is, if there's any doubts about that, let me just say this one thing. Spurs are going to get swept in this series. If they had Kawhi Leonard with Golden State not having Steph Curry, they very well could win that series in 7, if not 6 games. That's how good Kawhi Leonard is. That's how good he is. But let that swim on your brain right there as we move forward to this segment of Shit Can't Happen.
Yeah. Shit can't happen. Shit can't happen. Shit can't happen. Shit can't happen.
Now this ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Shit can't happen to him and your ass. You can't be touched, don't think you can't. Cause niggas ain't fucking around no more, man. This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Shit can't happen to him and your ass. You can't be touched, don't think you can't. Cause niggas ain't fucking around no more, man.
And you got Donovan Mitchell right here in the game where they shellacked the hell out of the fucking world champion Golden State Warriors. Come here, got the defensive player of the year, Draymond. Up, you get it. Up, Jamal McGee, you get it too. I thought y'all was gonna combine on me, that y'all was gonna stop me. Y'all motherfuckers thought shit couldn't happen. Y'all found out the hard way. Donovan Mitchell crosses the shit out of 2 Warrior defenders. Not 1, but 2. Letting these motherfuckers know that shit can happen. My rookie of the year, Donovan Mitchell. Okay, family. I wanted to get real with y'all for a second here. Today is Saturday, April 14th, and yesterday was my anniversary. For those who watch the show, dedicated to the show, know that I'm an ex-felon. And last year, April 13th, 2017, I was released from Otisville Correctional Facility after doing 10 years in prison. And yesterday was my anniversary, and I've been home a year. As you can see, I'm home and I'm doing me right now. And hit the hashtag, my anniversary, you see it right there. And hit the hashtag for all the felons out there. Think about where you was at last year, and think about how much better it is where you're at, where it is you're at now. For all the people who aren't felons, think about all the grinding you put in. Think about where you were at the year before, where you were at last year, and how much better your situation is now. You know, I do this for a reason. I do this because I love it, and I'm just happy to be where I'm at right now, and I'm really eager to see where I'll be able to take this. So thank you very much. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, Urban Sports Guru. I appreciate that. Peace and love. I'm out.